Hey y'all, it's Jade. Welcome back to Black Graffiti. Outside today, enjoying the weather. Just kind of wanted to do a quick video of something that's kind of been on my mind, something that has helped me, something that can possibly help some of the ladies out there, just a different perspective of looking at things from a man's point of view, and things that they probably want us to implement that maybe we haven't thought about doing, or not necessarily on purpose, but because we are so headstrong. So for the women that were brought up or that just are, very independent, and we're used to doing a lot of stuff for ourselves, we're used to being go-getters, things like that, nothing's wrong with that. So don't allow somebody to tell you that something's wrong with that, because nothing's wrong with that. In a relationship though, when you're with a guy, the thing that I tend to, or I've started to think about at this point in time, is looking at things in his perspective. Sometimes when you're an independent female, you always think that you always have the right answer, and it's not intentional. It's just you're so used to doing a lot of stuff for yourself, and that's just your go-to is yourself, so you don't really ask for the input of other people. When you're in a relationship with a person, with a guy, you need to ask them their input on things, and also be more understanding. That's something that I've had to work on consistently. Not that I'm not an understanding person, because I feel like I'm very understanding, but there are times where I get in that mode of being so independent that I lose sight of being understanding. That's kind of something that also keeps a person there, because they know that you're going to understand. Of course, understanding goes to a certain extent, because sometimes there can be a lot of excuses and stuff that are implemented that should not be. But in most cases, we need to focus on being more understanding. And in that point, what I mean by that is, let's say that your guy is down on hard times, they've cut his hours, things like that. Well, if you're independent, or you have an independent mindset, or you want certain things done, you have to look at it like this regardless. It's not his fault that his job is cutting hours or cutting overtime or whatever may be happening. If it's something that's out of his control and a bill is due, pay the bill. Especially if that person is usually going to pay the bill, do whatever they have to do. I think us unintentionally, we are so consistent, and it's so much put out there on social media about, okay, a man needs to pay for everything, blah blah blah. Look, in today's society, it is a joint effort. You know what I'm saying? It's there are some people that are fortunate enough, which is great, to be able to do the one household things, but in other perspectives, there's not. Some people don't, only just two people work in their relationship, but two people work two different jobs in their relationship just to keep afloat and just to keep cool. So you just got to understand that too. And on different perspectives, just understand where he's coming from. Don't always be so quick just to snap off on him. Don't be so quick to evaluate the situation without knowing the full story, or assuming that you know before you giving him an opportunity to be able to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are things that I've thought about, things that I've implemented personally, and things I think can really, really help. Because after all, we want to be heard. Lord knows we want to be heard as women. So guys want to be heard too. And part of the reason why some relationships don't work is because maybe from a perspective of a guy, they feel like you were understanding in the beginning, but now it just become a nuisance of you just always bickering and bitching and complaining. In some instances, we're not always bickering and bitching because we want what's best for you all. But in other instances, we really have to take a step back and say, was it worth the argument? Is it worth nitpicking? Is this something that I can do? Versus me always calling or texting or whatever, or asking him to do something. It's something that I can do. It may be out of the normal, but this would help him because he's going through a rough time or a rough patch. Everybody has that. So ladies, just remember, it's nothing wrong with being independent and having that mindset. And also, it's nothing wrong with wanting things consistently done at a certain time, a certain fashion, but at the same time, try to understand your guy's point of view. That's all I'm saying. Peace out.